know what, Will? Let's take it offline.
Put a pin in it.
We'll circle back to it. Has anyone ever beaten a dead horse?
I'm going to ruin
Oh, no.
your parade on this one.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. It's easy as pie. You've never made a pie. Pie is a very difficult situation. Hey, great question. Let me answer it real specifically for you. Everyone gather around. We're really going to learn some stuff because you're not making lemonade. You know what you're doing? You don't know how to make lemonade. Not real lemonade. You can talk about water and lemons and sugar all you want. That's not what Minute Maid uses to make their lemonade. They got a whole recipe. You can't just take lemons and make lemonade. You know, you can make lemon juice with seeds in it, unless you're careful.
The cliches that shape our lives.
Have you ever wondered about this particular thing?
I'm focusing on business cliches. I hear these things all the time, and there is always a small chuckle when you hear these.
I'm focusing more on kind of your day-to-day, all-the-time cliches that you might hear to and fro, here to there. These are cliches you might hear from either your mother-in-law, probably more accurate, a cliche you hear during a press conference while you watch the news.
And that's the way it is.
And we don't even know what each other's are. So what we're going to do is react to them and see if we think they're awesome or horrible or whatever.
We've all been on the conference call where we heard it said, "Hey, Bill, why don't we take this offline?" Which is shorthand for shut up.
Hey, Bill. Oh, you just really...
Yep. Yeah. Damn.
Hey, Bill, it's Dirk. You can never say that again.
Or actually, the way I would phrase it is, "Hey, Bill, stop talking now."
Hey, Bill went ahead and said that in front of other people, huh? Good call by you. I think that's a great decision. You're management material. You'll be at sea level in no time.
I'm just a Bill. Yes, I'm only a Bill.
What do you got? What's your first one?
Coach, how do you think your defense played today? It is what it is.
Dirk, I'm going to take some exception to this one. I think this one can be used in certain situations where someone comes up and goes, "Hey, this is poop."
You've never heard. Okay, if you're talking about an object, that's just classically it is what, if someone states what an object is, I don't usually hear anybody say it is what it is, but you are so right. If somebody says, "Here's my hand," what is what it is? Yes, it is a hand. It is what it is indeed. I take it back. It's the greatest cliche ever.
It is what it is, Dirk.
Yeah, it is. You guys are listening to it. It is what it is. My favorite is like when you hear it at like a White House press conference thing. It is what it is. No. Somebody's made this what it is.
They are dying. That's true. And it is what it is. But that doesn't mean we aren't doing everything we can.
And it's just a really, really obsequious way to avoid saying what you really, really want to say.
Obsequious.
Obsequious.
What does that mean? What does obsequious mean? Well, give it to me in context.
Ass kissery.
Brown nosing.
Brown nosery. Yeah.
All right, that's my number one. What else you got, buddy?
Sometimes when you're talking about something for just too long, we're going to put a pin in it.
We're going to put a pin in it.
We're going to put a pin in it means we don't have an answer for this. We don't know what the fuck we're really probably even talking about. We're really not sure what to do next. So we're going to bury it and kick the can down the road.
Yeah, so here's the cliche that immediately follows put a pin in it. Are you ready for it? Yeah, we'll put a pin in that, circle back to it later. But we're not circling back to it. You put a pin in it, you know what that means? That means you've put a pin that you no longer need into an object.
Yeah.
You know what? It's really not that important. Can't believe you brought it up. It's not for this meeting, and you're the worst.
The implied meaning of it is that we're going to put this aside. We're going to pin it on our wall, and we're going to come back to it, and we're pinning it in a place where we pay attention to it. When you actually put something on your wall, do you ever really pay any attention to it?
No. I thought it was like back when a seamstress would put a pin in something, put some pins in it. They're going to come back later and sew it up, actually finish the job.
Oh, maybe that's what that means. I always thought that that makes more sense now. Okay, good. All right.
Well, I'm still going to put what you said, make sure everybody hears that so that it sounds ridiculous.
Let's do this. Let's put a pin in it. Boop. Pin in. There you go. Now, let's let that hang there a bit, and then we'll address that when we thought things through.
So here's one that it's not that it's not true. It's true. It's just the connotation is bad. You know what? Tomorrow's another day. I know shit. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow's another night, too. It's basically based on hope. Like, you know what? Tomorrow's another day. Everything will be fine. The world's not ending, to put another cliche to explain my cliche. Is that what it means to you, is like hope, like tomorrow's another day?
Yeah, you know, I find this one really, really ironic, and I find tomorrow is another day to be the absolutely worst of all cliches ever produced in the history of the universe. You want to know why? Because the only time you use tomorrow's another day is the exact moment when no one wants to hear it.
Right. Something's bad right now for the other person.
Yeah, you're in the middle of something right now.
Yeah, my best friend just died. Well, tomorrow's another day. No, it's not. No, that's inappropriate. Let's go ahead and let's wind that back a few. Tomorrow, apparently, for the best friend, not another day.
Not another day.
It's death. Okay.
After all, tomorrow is another day.
What do you got, buddy? What's your next one?
Hey, Dirk, you know, when you work in a heavily matrixed organization, sometimes walls get built up. And when those walls get built up and they inhibit collaboration, you know what you need to do, Dirk?
Nope.
You need to break down the silos.
Oh, God, that's a good one. I have not heard that as much as you. That's definitely a corporate-y.
Breaking down the silos is the best way of saying we don't like each other. We really don't want to work with each other, but now we absolutely apparently have to.
Boo. See, I didn't know exactly what breaking down the silos meant, because being from Ohio, I thought it meant we're going to go out to the corn silo and break it down. I got to tell you, that is going to create a mess.
You don't want to do that.
Nah, you're going to have corn everywhere.
And when you make that mind shift, you immediately start to break down silos, and the organization immediately starts to move more clearly in alignment.
Well, that's a good one, Will. Let me throw us on to my next one, which can sometimes be true. But if you're going to be a cliche, I think you should be true most of the time. You know, Will, better late than never.
Unless you are the drug that's going to save my life.
Better late than never.
Unless you are the bulletproof vest that I forgot to put on.
Oh, better late than never.
Unless you are the phone call that stopped me from stepping in front of a bus.
Better late than never. Better late than never. Really? That's not what my best friend said. She's dead now. Let's go ahead and give her that EpiPen. Better late than never, right?
Hey. No. I use it actually more as a weapon.
You weaponize the cliche?
Weaponize that thing, man.
Oh, yeah. That's better late than never.
Hey, here's that report. Oh, ha. I guess it's better late than never.
You know it's bad when you never want to hear anybody who's very important say it. Doctor, lawyer, judge, astronaut. Better late than never.
Hey. Better late than never, huh?
Right, but Better Off Dead, the movie with John Cusack, that's awesome.
That is an amazing film.
4 weeks. 20 papers, that's $2.
Better late than never's mine. What do you got next?
My door is always open, Dirk. And by that, I mean, I never really actually want to see any of you.
Yep.
My door actually remained closed most of the time. And when people would knock on it, I would pretend not to be there.
Door's always open, but it's not always open. So if it's open and you're on a Zoom call and you have a report to get done and you have a problem at home and your wife is texting you and I walk in and go, hey, this isn't that important, but since your door's always open.
Well, my door is always open to you. Please close it on the way out.
All right, this one's pretty quick. And I know where it comes from. I know what it means. It's just objectively not true. Well, maybe it's objectively true. Love is blind. No, it's not. Love likes hotness. Because I've never fallen in love with somebody that I didn't think was hot first. I don't just fall in love with somebody, okay? You can, and if you want to talk about your family and friends and stuff like that, doesn't matter what they look like anyway. They're your family and friends. Love is blind is absolutely directed at someone who's looking for a partner or someone to have sex with. Love is blind. Okay, love is not blind. Love wants to have sex a lot with that person, but not that one.
Well, I was going to say, not to literalize a cliche because that's not what you're supposed to do, because they are supposed to be metaphors. But, I mean, love can be blind, Dirk.
No, love can be blind, but love is blind. That's a statement of fact. Untrue.
Completely untrue, both metaphorically and literally. These are all passive-aggressive ways to say what you really mean, right? People hear them and they hear what they want to hear, but there is a real implicit meaning in these that nobody is really willing to own. And I like to think that maybe we're exploring some of that today.
It stops right there, and it continues right here, because I think what my friend Mitch is trying to say is that true love is blind.
What do you got?
All right, my next one is a great one, and it's a special one around the house, but I hate it because it's so sweet and saccharine. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Oh, God, you just hit my least favorite corporate cliche.
Teamwork making the dream work is really a question of whose dream. It's just it's a terrible way of saying, thanks for doing a lot of work.
It was born for a CEO or a C-level executive to say to the minions, it's corporate, you're professional, it's business, and the cliche rhymes.
Maybe teamwork makes the dream work has transcended corporateness because we use it around the house with my sweet, sweet little daughter. Whenever my 5-year-old, we're trying to teach her to be responsible and do things on her own, and she'll ask for help, and I'll come over and help her. And then she says, and she picked this up from her mother, teamwork makes the dream work, and we give each other 5, and it's super cute. But if I hear it in an office, man, I want to throw hands.
Teamwork makes the dream work. When we do it together. Teamwork makes the dream work. 'Cause together we're better. Learning, playing, building, singing, coding, making friends, believing. Every boy and every girl.
All right, that's my number one least favorite corporate one. So thanks for hitting it. I'm very excited you hit it. Here's one I use all the time, and man, I mean it when I say it. So these aren't all bad. Some of these are cliches that I love to use because they make sense. Dude, read the room, okay? You've always got the jackass or the person who's selfish or the person who's just not real good on picking up on stuff that's just going to come out, and they need somebody like me to look at them and go, read the room. Let's go ahead and read the room.
I actually adore that cliche.
Right now in life, it's my most used cliche.
Yeah, I think it's a really good one because it not only is pretty literal in terms of use your EQ, man. It's important.
It's said, generally, it makes somebody feel bad. Read the room makes you feel about this big because now you know you've said something inappropriate. And here's the thing. You should. I said it to make you feel smaller. Like I didn't say read the room so that you wouldn't feel bad. I said read the room so that you would know, dude, shut the fuck up. You're kidding, right? You just said that? Not what we needed. You can actually leave now. Don't read the room, leave the room.
I may not know how to read, but I do know how to read a room, Greg.
My next one is really a great one. Failure is not an option. I work in marketing. Failure is not only an option. Generally speaking, if you're doing it right, it's the probable outcome.
Right.
Probably going to fail at first, and then we're going to fix it, and then we're going to fix it, and then we're going to fix it, and then we're going to fix it. And that's called marketing.
Until you get it where you want it, and it's never perfect.
Failure is not binary. It's not either you fail or you don't fail. You succeed a little bit and you fail a little bit.
It's so very precise in its wording.
It's supposed to be inspirational, but it's also supposed to be a little bit fear-inducing. I think it was used in Apollo 13, and it was probably appropriate in Apollo 13 because...
Okay, that's a good call. Yeah.
And even then, failure is still an option.
Again, it might go down in the books, in the annals of the To Be Fair airwaves of overused cliches, because at the end of the day, when you say failure is not an option, if you fail, you should die. You know what? We're going to finish this strong, and millions of people are going to watch this because failure is not an option.
It's not just an option. It's the likely result.
I want this mark all the way back to Earth with time to spare. We never lost an American in space. We're sure as hell not going to lose one on my watch. Failure is not an option.
Here we go. Here comes my next great cliche that's used all the time. You know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. That would invoke thoughts of, wow, good. This is important. And we'll certainly talk about it when we get there. Or is that you just kicking the can down, going, that's a difficult situation. I don't want to talk about it right now.
I think you have done a great job of showing the duality of a cliche. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, which implies on the upside that, you know, when let's accomplish a few things, let's get some things done, and then when we get to that point, I'll address those concerns. What it really means is I have no idea what we're going to do after we finish this series of things that we're doing right now.
Okay, so when I say it, and I've said it 4 times in my life, it's not one of my cliches. Here's what I've meant by it. I don't think we're getting to that point anyway.
Your library only has 3 books. What happens when a person's read them all?
I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
What else is going on in corporate America?
I'm going to use this favorite The data never lies.
Data never lies. So true, so logical.
You can't make math lie, but you can lie about what the numbers mean. Analysis is where the data is interpreted, and there are lots of lies in analysis.
If somebody hits a ball in baseball 3 out of 10 times, they're hitting it. They hit it less than half the time.
Yeah,
or they're one of the great hitters in Major League Baseball.
They're one of the great hitters of Major League Baseball.
The data is the data. They're both true.
They're both true. They're both factual. You're right.
Yeah. Now you've just twisted and turned the data to make it say what you want it to say.
Data? Yes? What happened? Any answer would be mere speculation. This is yet another example of how our actions have random results. Thanks, Data.
Let's see. Here's one that everybody knows, everybody uses, and the intentions are good. Because when life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Well, if life gives you lemons, water, and sugar, then you can make lemonade.
If life gives you lemons, pour it in some vodka.
I just don't even know really how to respond to it, because if somebody actually says that to me, I'm going to ask them, A, how old they are, and B, why are they talking, and C, how fast can they run? Because I'm coming.
It is a cliche, but you only hear it when people are talking about cliches or in a movie or in a song. Leave in the comments below anyone who's actually had somebody say to them or has said to somebody, when life gives you lemons, you got to make lemonade. No one's ever said that in real life.
Without irony.
It means this. Oh, that blows. Dude, that sucks. Oh, you got screwed on that one. Because you're not making lemonade. You know what you're doing? You don't know how to make lemonade. Not real lemonade. You can talk about water and lemons and sugar all you want. That's not what Minute Maid uses to make their lemonade. They got a whole recipe and shit. You can't just take lemons and make lemonade. You can make lemon juice with seeds in it. Unless you're careful.
When life hands you lemons.
Make lemonade.
No. First, you roll out a multimedia campaign to convince people lemons are incredibly scarce, which only works if you stockpile lemons, control the supply, then a media blitz. Lemons are the only way to say I love you, the must-have accessory for engagements or anniversaries. Roses are out, lemons are in, billboards that say she won't have sex with you unless you've got lemons.
What's your next one, buddy?
And you hear this really the last 10 years in business all the time, and it's a great one. Because, Dirk, I like to position myself on LinkedIn as a thought leader.
Thought leader.
Yeah. Calling yourself a thought leader is a bit like giving yourself a nickname and announcing that you gave yourself that nickname. Other people can call you a thought leader, either ironically or not ironically, but you can't call yourself a thought leader either way. I was at a bar and this guy called himself a thought leader.
He said it out loud in public?
Well, I worked there. I started it, but now I'm more of a thought leader there.
Oh, no. If you say you're a thought leader, I assume you've been fired a lot.
That's probably a safe assumption. That is probably a very, very safe assumption.
Hi there, I'm a thought leader.
If you're humble, you can refer to yourself as a thought leader, but if you're arrogant, you refer to yourself as an expert. But in reality, it's the actual flip-flop.
That's a great point. It's exactly the opposite of that. You start with douche, you end with bag. You're a thought leader.
To become a thought leader, the first step you must take is to identify your niche or area of expertise. Thought leaders are experts in the domain of knowledge. Figure out what area this is for you. This will impact your ability to become a thought leader who commands higher levels of respect and significance, which can be leveraged into higher fees.
So both my last two have something in common. They're ridiculously dumb. My penultimate cliche in the real world is, oh yeah, I can do that. It's easy as pie. You've never made a pie. Pie is a very difficult situation.
I was going to ask you, I feel like you have some experience with this. Maybe this is coming from a personal space.
Dude, there's nothing harder in this world than making a pie. You go make a pie. So if you say, here's how you make brownies, because cooking is kind of subjective and I can flavor this. And I think that's where a lot of artistry comes in, is when you're cooking something. If you're baking something, it's basically math and science. Put this amount in, put these amounts of these situations in, cook them for this at this temperature for this long, let it cool for this long. Over and over and over and over again, you're going to have the same thing. Not a pie, not a pie, not a pie. Because a pie, you got to make crusts and shit. A brownie, I'm just dumping everything in a bowl. You got to make a crust, right? And you want that crust to be like crispy and stuff. And then if you're making like the homemade pie, you got little strips on the top. of the dough because you want it to look cool with all those checkers. Fuck you. Making a pie is hard as shit.
Like a low fiber poop.
I challenge anyone to make a pie right now. You know what? Go follow the directions. See how the pie comes out. Don't skip anything. And don't buy a crust. You gotta make your own crust. You're making this pie. It's the easiest pie.
Hey, Dirk, I have never made a pie.
That's weird because it's so easy.
I'm never going to make a pie now.
Don't. Because I hate to use a cliche. As far as I'm gonna make my own pie, juice isn't worth the squeeze on that.
There you go.
Come toss me my top hat. Yes, sir. I'm ready to fly. Busting into the upper crust as easy as pie.
What do you got next, Will?
So my next one, and this one is one of my favorite ones because, and I'm loath to give it away on this podcast because I use it in a lot of speeches and talks that I give. That's a great question. Whatever comes out of their mouth after they say that's a great question, if it's not, I don't know, it is complete and utter bullshit because they have no idea what to answer. If they knew what to answer, they wouldn't say that's a great question.
They'd say, ooh, got me on that one.
They would say things like 7.
Right. What is 2 plus 2? Great question. Nope, not so much a great question. The answer is 4.
Not a great question. Not a great answer.
In my case, a lot of times it's this, and I hope this doesn't sound too narcissistic. If I say, great question, what I really mean is, you simpleton, everyone already knows the answer to that question. Why are you asking that and wasting our time? Hey, great question. Let me answer it real specifically for you. Everyone gather around. We're really going to learn some stuff. You're going to enjoy the new information that you gather in your head from this great question.
If you're in a business meeting and it's somebody asks a question and the response is, that's a great question, it's a stall tactic.
Yeah, it's a great stall tactic.
Well, citizen, that's an excellent question, and I thank you for it. I think it's great we live in a town where you can ask questions, because without questions, we just have answers. And an answer without a question is a statement.
Oh, I like him. He looks me in the eye.
I'd like to have a beer with him. I'm voting for him.
All right, so that's a good one. That's a real strong one as we come to the end. So here's my last one. And again, this falls into the category of no one's ever said it to you, but it's a cliche. There's no need to beat a dead horse. Well, no one's ever beaten a dead horse. People have made lemonade out of lemons. Agreed?
Yes.
Tomorrow is another day. Correct?
Yes.
It, if it's poop, is what it is. Poop is poop. Correct?
As the French say, oui.
There are people out there whose name is love and they cannot see. So love is blind. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Has anyone ever beaten a dead horse?
I'm going to ruin your parade on this one.
Shit.
Yes, they have. The phrase comes from horse racing when you're whipping the horse or when you're plowing a field and the horse literally fucking dies in the field and you're beating the horse to try and get it up and it's dead.
So what I did here, Will, that's great. You're right. And I apologized. I took some steps here that weren't necessarily correct to take, and that in my head I thought to myself it meant beating a known dead horse. So no one's ever beaten a known dead horse. Now, generally when a horse dies, it'll stop breathing and moving and walking and running and such. That's when I would stop beating it.
Dad, what's wrong with AIDS? Why doesn't anyone want me to give them AIDS? There he is, beating that dead horse. Get him!
All right, Will, so that's the end of my list. But we're not done, ladies and gentlemen. We got one more, and it's Willie Will coming in to talk to us about his last cliche. Willie Will?
Well, I'm just going to throw this one out because it's good to finish up with. You know, what's done is done, Dirk.
What's done is done, isn't it?
What's done is done. Hey, what's done is done, man.
What's done is done.
What's done is done. Huh. You know, what's done is done. What's done is done.
What's done is done. Let's move on. I guess, what's done is done. What's done is done.
What's done is done. What's done is done.
Yeah, well, what's done is done. We'll go ahead and talk about this offline. Taylor Swift. I think she's going to make it, though.
I think that girl has a future.
Not a huge one, but a small one. If she dates the right guy.
In a place where we pay attention to it. Whenever
I hope everybody just saw me try to drink this with the lid on.
Wow. That's class.
That is not an outtake. That is making it.
That better make
Sorry,
it.
go ahead. You're on a roll. I didn't mean to stop you, but that was awesome.
When you put a
hey, look, I'm using natural light, and you can tell from my arm.
in a
Natural light video.
I was basing it on my own personal behavior, where I put a pin in something, I put it on my dartboard or my pin board, and I never pay any attention to it again.
I like the fact that you've used the word pinboard.
Pinboard.
A pinboard's a pinboard. Said, love is blind only when you're the kind of person that doesn't know a Tesla's coming towards you. That's when love is blind. You're not my, oh God. All I can do to explain cliches is use other cliches. You're not my cup of tea.
You're not my cup of tea.
Not my cup of tea. I'm studying the history of African-American ties and how they relate to the colonization of the United States and their English brethren. What? God, it'd be sweet to see though, wouldn't it? Just as you're driving down there, a horse that died, because at some point all living things die. You start with douche, you end with bag. You're a thought leader. Oh, I didn't even gonna do a dance.